This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Missy Kohler. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson. News 25 is also brought to you by Silver State Health, Pahrum's exclusive pediatric care clinic. Call 775-505-1214 for an appointment.
Good evening. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday, April 14th. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Missy Kohler.
Well, if all goes well, Nevada businesses will soon be able to reopen at 100%. Governor Steve Sisolak says the target date for that to happen is June 1st.
Based on consultation with our state health officials, I am pleased to announce that I am very confident every county in the state of Nevada will be able to fully reopen at 100% capacity by June 1st. The original plan to transition authority over mitigation measures to the counties on May 1st remains the same. We are aware that some counties may make the decision to move 100% capacity as early as May 1st, when they gain the authority. Others may not. Each county in Nevada is unique and has different factors to consider. But regardless of the ultimate decisions each county makes for the May 1st transition, we are confident that every county will be able to move to 100% capacity by June 1st. And I want to be clear, crystal clear. The mask mandate is a statewide standard. Counties have no ability to pass resolutions or create plans that attempt to override this mandate. This measure will remain in place to protect the health and safety of Nevadans to help get the state to a full reopening. In addition to lifting the statewide directive on social distancing requirements on May 1st and transitioning that authority to counties, I have another update I'd like to provide. Mitigation measures within our education system have always been separate from the general public measures. But in an effort to continue our transitions to local authority back to normal operations as of May 1st, decisions over mitigation measures within our schools will also now be transitioned to county school districts and charter school sponsors. That includes social distancing.
Well, the governor says about 40% of Nevadans 16 and older have started the vaccine process, and 25% of Nevadans 16 and older are now fully vaccinated.
The Nevada Assembly has passed a bill that would abolish the death penalty. The bill now heads to the Senate, where its future is uncertain. Governor Steve Sisolak said should the bill reach his desk, he'll give it careful consideration, adding that in most cases, he's opposed to capital punishment.
Assembly Bill 395 abolishes the imposition of a sentence of death on a person convicted of first-degree murder. Further, this measure reduces the sentence of any person sentenced to death to a sentence of imprisonment for life without the possibility of parole. Now is the time to end the death penalty in Nevada. The death penalty is broken. Over the past 20 years, efforts to address troubling problems like racial bias, arbitrary and overbroad use, and wrongful convictions of innocent persons have all failed to fix the death penalty.
On September 2nd, 2011, Alyssa Otremba, just 15 years old, was walking home from borrowing a textbook from a friend. Javier Rigetti kidnapped and dragged Alyssa into a desert lot where he sexually assaulted and raped her. Rigetti then stabbed Alyssa more than 80 times in her head, neck, and body, then carved an LV for Las Vegas into her thigh because he said it made him feel gangster. Javier Rigetti's guilt is not a question. He gave Alyssa Otremba a death sentence. He should get the same.
I rise in support of Assembly Bill 395. The pursuit of justice should never have a result in the permanent taking of a life by the state. The practice doesn't make Nevada any safer. It requires millions of dollars in valuable resources and is a relic of an era where cruel and unusual punishments were commonplace. We have evolved beyond the need for executions, and that act has no place in our society.
Today, capital punishment is only used sparingly and when evidence is irrefutable and the crime was egregious. Capital punishment is allowed in 27 states and works as a societal deterrent. We must consider the victims, we must consider their families, and in the most extreme cases, we've got to deliver justice for them.
There are 26 ayes, 16 nays. The bill has received the constitutional majority. Declare passed and order transmitted to the Senate.
What I've said on the record in the past has not changed. Under most circumstances, I'm opposed to capital punishment. I know there have been wrongful convictions. I know there are significant costs associated with capital punishment and more. But as also said on the record in the past, there are incredibly severe situations that may warrant consideration of capital punishment. But I believe overall it should be sought and used less often. I was on the ground the night and the morning after 1 October. I was there. I talked to families whose loved ones were victims. The experiences of victims' family members are always on my mind. Just like the majority of Nevadans, they consider this issue that weighs heavily on me, which is why I have a hard time with the idea of a complete abolishment of the death penalty. I'll continue watching this bill. As governor, I have responsibility to be considerate of all these factors while I weigh any legislation that could get to my desk.
Well, the Pfizer vaccine will be used at the COVID-19 mobile vaccination units, and that started today at the clinic that was scheduled in Goldfield. The 2-dose shot will require people vaccinated to return again. If you are in Goldfield, you need to return on Wednesday, May 5th to receive your second dose. Pfizer is available to populations ages 16 plus, increasing the population eligible to receive the vaccine. Pfizer is replacing the 1-dose Janssen vaccine, which they are still looking into at this time for the 6 people that are reportedly had received blood clots. They said that one of those has been identified to be here in the state of Nevada. On Tuesday, Nevada Health Response paused that vaccine use following recommendations to do so from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the Centers for Disease Control. The FEMA unit schedules are once again in Goldfield today. The next one is scheduled for Tonopah, which is this Friday, April 16th from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. at the EMS Station 11 at 209 North St. Patrick Street. The people who get those doses will need to return for their second shot on Friday, May 7th. And Round Mountain, Sunday, April 18th at 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. at the Hadley Fire Station number 21 at 103 Smoky Valley Road. Returning dates for their second shot would be on Sunday, May 9th in Reno, Nevada.
More News 25 is coming right up.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest-reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Coinbase begins trading today. Investors are feeling the pain as use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is put on hold, and GM prepares to bring us factory back online sooner than expected. Angela Miles reports.
Topping our news, Coinbase, the most popular trading exchange for cryptocurrency, is expected to begin trading today. Cryptocurrencies have become a hot commodity, including Bitcoin, which traded above 63,000. The Coinbase IPO is happening at a time when more people are said to be trading cryptocurrency than actually using it as cash to buy items. J&J investors are feeling much pain. The CDC and FDA have called the drug maker's COVID-19 vaccine to be put on pause due to rare and severe blood clots in 6 women between the ages of 18 and 48. CVS and Walgreens have already stopped J&J vaccines for now. General Motors is rolling out some encouraging news. The automaker's Spring Hill assembly plant in Tennessee will return to regular production Monday. That plant was supposed to remain closed until April 26th due to the chip shortage.
Thanks, Angela. Well, a Prump man is under arrest after an incident involving a Nye County code compliance officer.
61-year-old Michael Little is under arrest and facing a charge of battery on a protected person. The Nye County Sheriff's Office says deputies responded to the Nye County Code Compliance Office in Pahrump Monday for a battery investigation. The Sheriff's Office says code compliance employees said they were serving a cease and desist notice to Little at a residence on Frontage Road when they say Little became irate and verbally aggressive with them. The Sheriff's Office says their investigation also found that Little had chest bumped one of the code compliance employees during that altercation. Little was placed under arrest and transported to the Nye County Detention Center.
Nye County officers took 2 people into custody following a short pursuit ending on the highway.
Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies were led on a pursuit last night around 10 p.m. The vehicle traveled down Highway 160 and then Highway 372, where officers were able to stop the car, described as a Hyundai Santa Fe, at Red Butte and Highway 372. 2 people were taken into custody at gunpoint at the time of the traffic stop. According to Nye County Sheriff's Office dispatch, the car was reported stolen the day prior. Traffic was blocked in all directions by Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies conducted the investigation. And the Sheriff's Office has been busy. A pair of vehicle versus structure accidents led deputies to suspect driving under the influence. One person was arrested this afternoon at Highway 160 and Country Place in front of the Old West Market after they reportedly struck the building with their vehicle. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies arrived on scene along with Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue, who reported no damage to the structure. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies took the driver of the pickup truck into custody and transported him to the Nye County Sheriff's Office Detention Center on suspicion of DUI. Yesterday afternoon, there was a similar accident on Alaska Way. The structure, which is described as manufactured dwelling, sustained no damage as a result. The reporting party called police to say that a driver they suspected was under the influence had struck the building. Police are investigating that incident as a DUI accident as well.
Nevada Highway Patrol's Southern Command reports an alarming trend in the number of calls for wrong-way drivers. But there are ways to protect yourself while driving on a southern Nevada roadways.
Through April 6th, Nevada Highway Patrol Southern Command has responded to 139 calls for wrong-way drivers. That's up 9% from the same time period last year. Given this trend, the Highway Patrol has some recommendations for motorists. Slow down. Driving at a high rate of speed decreases the time you have to recognize and react to a wrong-way driver approaching you. Call Star NHP. If you observe a vehicle traveling the wrong way on a highway, call the Nevada Highway Patrol directly in order to save precious seconds or even minutes versus calling 911. If you're on a surface street, do call 911. Avoid distracted driving. Don't use any electronic devices while driving. Using a cell phone while driving divides your attention and prevents you from immediately recognizing potential hazards. Drive defensively. Always be on the lookout for possible hazards. The sooner you recognize a wrong-way driver approaching you, the more reaction time you have. Avoid the fast lane. It's recommended that drivers on the highway avoid staying in the fast lane, especially during the overnight hours. Many fatal wrong-way crashes occur in the far left travel lane. NHP says, most importantly, drive sober. The vast majority of wrong-way drivers have been found to be impaired. According to Nevada Office of Traffic Safety data, 90% of the wrong-way fatal crashes that occurred in 2019 involved an impaired driver. The Nevada Department of Public Safety reminds everyone to buckle up, slow down, and drive sober, saying together we can reverse this trend and save lives.
Definitely.
We'll be back with your health report right after the break.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by Canyon Ridge Periodontics. Give them a call at 702-966-0302.
Welcome back. Well, as the vaccination rollout continues, researchers are noticing a decline in COVID-19 testing, which is a big change from this time last year.
Testing is usually performed because people have symptoms, and so the declining number of patients with COVID-19 is the reason that there's a decreased number of tests being performed.
Dr. Gary Prokop is the director of clinical virology for Cleveland Clinic. He says testing is generally only needed if a person is showing signs or symptoms of COVID-19, has been exposed to someone with the virus, or if it's required for another reason, like returning back to school or work. He says just because testing is slowing down, that doesn't mean we should let our guards down too. Otherwise, we could risk another wave of infection. He also emphasized the importance of getting vaccinated, especially as new variants of the virus arrive here in the United States.
By decreasing the amount of disease in the community, you decrease the amount of variants that can emerge. So thus another reason to push hard to see this pandemic to the end, because if you had a variant that was fully resistant to vaccination, we could be back to square one. And none of us want to repeat this.
He says as of right now, testing can detect the current variants, but it is something they are monitoring in case a new mutation were to develop.
If you're thinking about adopting a cat, you should consider looking at one of our local shelters. For today's Save a Pet, Darby O'Donnell introduces us to two cats looking for their forever homes, Jupiter and Zeus.
Today's Save a Pet is proudly sponsored by Jason Ernest with Mountain West Lawyers. Call 775-727-9500.
That's Zeus. He wants to go and make an appearance once again because he's very needy as a cat. But today we are joined with Jupiter. Jupiter is a senior male orange tabby. He honestly should have been named Garfield because he very obviously likes lasagna. He's a chunky cat, basically. He is a senior. You can tell his fur is has a little bit more of that like oily texture to it. Super cute, very friendly, is in the open cat room, so obviously gets along well with other kitties. He did come in as a stray, and someone was able to go and capture him. But if you want to come and see Jupiter or any of his friends here in the cat room at Desert Haven, please give them a call ahead of time to make an appointment. 775-751-7020, or you can always look them up on their Facebook page at Desert Haven Animal Society. Zeus would like to be featured once again really quick. Zeus was adopted and returned a total of 3 different times. He is a absolute lover. The best kitty, honestly. He has humongous green eyes. I like to call him a Tim Burton cat because like his eyes are just like way too big for his face. But he gives you kisses and he gives little love nibbles. He does not go and bat at you. He doesn't try and bite you or anything. He just wants love and attention, honestly. So if you are a kid, someone who's looking for a kitty who can get along with other cats, who loves attention, Zeus is your kitty. But there's also Jupiter, who is in the open cat room. So come and visit any of the kitties here, honestly. They're all so cute. There's so many in the open cat room that get along with other cats. So give them a call ahead of time, 775-751-7020, or you can look them up on their Facebook at Desert Haven Animal Society. Bye, Zeus. You want to say anything?
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. Looking out the weather window here at KPVM, it's John Kohler. Wow, what is that? It's a cyclone. Little dust devil, maybe a Cat. 2. It's fractional still. I've seen these things throw greenhouses across the yard. Watch out for that. Weather news coming up. Stick around.
Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios, and the weather today on a Wednesday, a lot like leftovers. Could use a little warming up. Look at that, Fernley, Fallon, Carson City, Tonopah, all the way down to Goldfield. Nothing much better than 54 degrees for a high temperature today. Beatty, you're setting the mark pretty good at the Gateway, 68 degrees. Amargosa in Las Vegas, 72 and 77 degrees respectively. Out to Death Valley, 85 degrees for a high temperature today. But here in the paradise of Pahrump, where the grass is green, the air is pure, and everybody's way above average at 71 degrees. And that was just a tick off the mark of our high mark today at 72 degrees. Winds continuing to buffet us out of the south-southwest to 15 miles per hour. We're going to have a shift in direction of the winds, at least as we head towards evening. But the sun rose this morning at 6:11 a.m., and it'll set this evening at about 7:17. It'll be a beautiful sunset. Watch for it. 46 degrees is where we're heading tonight on the low end. And the winds are shifting out in the north now to 20 miles per hour. As we head on into the week, what's that going to look like? Well, a lot of wind throughout the week, and temperatures gradually getting better and better as we approach Monday, Tuesday. Not a bad weekend, mid-70s for highs, almost 80 degrees on Sunday, clear skies, and but those winds, yes, 15 miles per hour as we average throughout the week, and those temperatures are heading all the way up into the 80s as we get to the back half of the week. So things to look forward to. How about that? All right, back to the desk. It's Missy, Indiana.
Thanks so much, John. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.